Today, personalized items are all the rage. But would you believe there's an artist in Murray who specializes in custom coffins?
Hi, my name is Bud Davis, and I make coffins. When I tell people what I do, I usually get one of two reactions, and they're both extreme. A lot of people will, when I say I make coffins, their faces go blank, and they'll just turn around and walk away, or they say, well, God, that's awful. And other ones say, wow, that's the neatest thing I ever heard of. You know, that's a really great idea. I had started making small coffins as sculpture. They're half-size coffins, and they commemorate some of my family members and ancestors. They're on stands, and they hold photographs and mementos and different things like that. And then in the process of making those, I thought, well, I'd like to make my own coffin as a work of art and then have an exhibition, and all those would be in together. Now, I've never built my own coffin yet, so. But out of that, I thought, well, why shouldn't everybody's coffin be a work of art? I had a friend here in Murray, Albert Sparrett, who ran the art gallery at the university. And I asked him if he thought it was a crazy idea, and he said no, he thought it was pretty good. So he had, at the time, he had a studio, and so we used his studio, and he kept the books, and I built and designed the coffins. Then later on, my son, who's a graphic designer, designed a really nice website for us, and it kind of took off from there. It was the first one that I built for someone else. It was for a cousin of mine down in Junction City, Kentucky, who was schizophrenic and wanted a coffin to sleep in. So I built him a pine toe pincher and took it down there, and we took it out and put it in his house, and he called me up and said, buddy, you got to come and get this coffin out of here. He says, it scares me to death. So I went all the way back up to Junction City, and we took it out and put it in his garage. So I did one that was in the form of a steamboat, and it was for a documentary film that public broadcasting did. And they had, I don't know if you've heard of Roy Blunt Jr., he's an author and a humorist. He was doing this film that was about, they called it The Mainstream, and it was all about the people and things along the Mississippi River. So they had us build this steamboat coffin for him, and then they put Roy Blunt Jr. in it, and we pushed him out in the Mississippi River, and he mused on life and death in the South. And I've done one for Maxim magazine, which is a beer bottle coffin, and they gave that away in a national contest. Some young guy in Cleveland won it. I also built a coffin for Santa Claus, which is a toe pincher, which is shaped like this coffin. And it's all painted with pictures of Santa Claus and his toy bag and reindeers and candy canes and things like that. And he keeps it in his living room. Not many people know that Santa Claus lives in a trailer in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. So, but he has, his whole trailer is just decorated for Christmas all the time. And his coffin is his coffee table, and he hides all of his wife's presents in it because she doesn't like it and doesn't like it in the living room, so she won't open it. Usually people don't want to be buried in them. A lot of them use them for blanket chests. A few use them for coffee tables. Santa Claus uses his for one. I had one woman who lived in Kentucky at the time. Now she's moved to Georgia. She keeps hers in her family room as a coffee table and a conversation piece, and she calls it her end table. I built one for a woman in Kirksey, Kentucky, and it's in the shape of a window seat, and it's in her dining room. She keeps all of her sewing things in it, extra material and things like that, and she has a couple of little dogs, and they like the top is all padded and tufted, and the dogs like to sleep on that. So.
With all the time and effort he puts into building them, you might think that Bud would be sad to see his creations put to their intended use.
Not at all. Most of the artwork I've ever made in my life is buried somewhere anyway, so.
So whether you're just looking for a good old-fashioned heel squeezer or something a little more elaborate, chances are the folks at Bert and Bud's can make just what you're looking for.